I never got an invitation to my brother's wedding. At first, I thought maybe it got lost in the mail. But when I asked, my mother smiled, a thin, venom-laced smile, and said, "Sorry, dear. This event is only for the people we actually love." My father didn't even look up when he added, "Some people just don't belong at family celebrations." And my aunt, always eager to twist the knife, chimed in with, "Real family only means real family." Their words settled like ash in my chest. Cold, suffocating, final. So I did what they never expected me to do. I didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't beg. I smiled, packed a suitcase, and left. While they raised glasses and posed for their perfect photos, I wandered through old streets in a city I'd always dreamed of visiting. I watched sunsets over quiet rooftops, ate dinner alone, but in peace, and told myself they can't hurt me if I'm not there to be hurt. But peace is tricky. It lingers only until the memories catch up. At night, their words echoed across oceans, reminding me of every time I had been their afterthought, their scapegoat, their disappointment. Still, being away gave me clarity. If I was the family failure, why had they leaned on me for help so many times? Why had the disappointment paid their overdue bills, covered their medical costs, or cleaned up their messes without ever being thanked? Then came the twist. A message buzzed through while I was sitting at a cafe, halfway through my trip. "Wedding canceled. We need you. Please help." I stared at the screen for a long time, the words blurring together. The same people who told me I wasn't family were suddenly begging for my help to save the family event. By the time I flew home, my phone was flooded. Mom's text came first. "Madison, we were just joking. You know that. Please, you have to help us fix this." Then Dad, "It's just money. Families help each other. Don't be stubborn." And, of course, Aunt Lydia, "If you cared about your brother, you wouldn't let his big day fall apart." I read every message in silence. A week ago, I wasn't invited because I wasn't real family. Now I was their lifeline. I dropped my luggage at the door, lit a candle, and sat at my kitchen table, the phone buzzing beside me. Their panic didn't surprise me. It was the pattern. They built this wedding the way they built everything else, with other people's money, fake pride, and the assumption that I'd quietly keep everything from falling apart. But this time, I wasn't holding their foundation up anymore. That night, my phone rang again. My brother's voice cracked through the speaker, desperate and trembling. "Maddie, please. You know I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. We just need $20,000 to clear the venue debt. Then everything can go ahead." I laughed, a sound too sharp to be kind. I thought I wasn't real family. There was silence on the other end. Then a week. I didn't mean it like that. But he did. They all did. Later, I poured a glass of wine and posted a photo from my trip, me standing against a sunset, face calm, heart free. The caption read, "Sometimes exclusion is a gift. Sometimes distance is the cure. And sometimes the wedding that wasn't meant for you was never meant to happen at all." By morning, the post had exploded. Friends called me strong. Strangers told me they understood. And my family? They panicked louder. Mom's voicemail came next, heavy with fake sobs and dramatics. "Madison, please, we didn't mean it. We were just under stress. You're our daughter. You belong. Don't punish us now." Punish. That word stung, but not the way she hoped. I wasn't punishing them. I was simply living the way they had taught me, alone, uninvited, forgotten. By noon, Dad tried a different tone. Anger. "Enough games. You have the money. We know you do. Family pulls together. Step up." I set the phone down and let his voice fade. For years, I had stepped up. I paid their bills, saved their home, covered their mistakes, and in return, they erased me from every photo, every milestone, every memory that mattered. Now, they were finally learning what life looked like without my quiet contributions. That afternoon, Aunt Lydia appeared at my door, perfume thick, smile strained. "Sweetheart, your brother's heartbroken. You don't want this on your conscience. Imagine the shame if the wedding doesn't happen." I tilted my head, studying her. "Imagine the shame when your words about real family are the reason I'm not interested." Her lips parted, but no excuses came out. She left quickly, her heels clicking down the hall like a retreat. That evening, I sat on my balcony, the city humming below, and thought about the little girl I used to be. The one who tried to earn love by fixing everything, by being useful. The one who believed if she just helped enough, they'd finally see her as part of them. But I wasn't that girl anymore. I didn't want their empty praise or their approval. All I wanted was peace, and I had already found it. By the fourth day, their panic had turned into public embarrassment. The wedding planner quit. Vendors pulled out. And soon, the whispers started spreading through town. The Cole family can't even pay their bills. Their perfect image, built on pride and debt, was collapsing the same way they had tried to collapse me. My brother called again, voice shaking. Maddie, please. We know we hurt you, but if this wedding doesn't happen, we lose everything. Our reputation, our standing. People will think we're a joke. I let the silence stretch, then said softly, "You thought I was a joke first. Remember Mom's words? Dad's laugh? And speech about real family? That wasn't a mistake. That was what you believed." He inhaled shakily. "We were wrong. But apologies aren't currency. They don't rebuild trust." I thought about all the times I had saved them, quietly transferring money, fixing their chaos, keeping them afloat, and realized this time I didn't owe them anything. Their wedding collapsed without me. Their pride, their pretense, their illusion all gone. And me, for the first time in my life, I wasn't the family disappointment. I was simply free. For years, I'd brushed off their words, laughed through the subtle dismissals, pretended not to notice when my efforts disappeared into silence. But not this time. The night after the wedding that wasn't, I posted a photo. My plane ticket stub from the trip I'd taken instead of attending their exclusive celebration. My caption was calm but edged with truth. Funny how the people who never invite you to their table always expect you to pay the bill. Not anymore. The reaction was instant. Friends and strangers alike applauded. A few cousins I barely spoke to sent quiet messages of support. But the louder my post spread, the more desperate my family's messages became. I didn't flinch. For the first time, I saw it clearly. What they called love had always been conditional, tangled in manipulation and usefulness. And without me, their whole illusion began to collapse. By the weekend, the news broke. The wedding had been officially canceled. The venue released a polite statement about unpaid balances, but everyone understood what that meant. Whispers spread. Guests backed out. Their perfect image, so carefully built on appearances and arrogance, crumbled overnight. From my apartment, I watched the fallout online, a cup of coffee warming my hands. My brother's fiancée posted vague remarks about betrayal. My mother stopped updating her social media altogether. Someone even snapped a photo of my father at a store. He looked hollow, aged. I didn't feel pity. I felt lighter, almost weightless. Then came Aunt Lydia's voicemail. Her voice softer now, heavy with regret. "Madison, we shouldn't have said those things. We were cruel. But can't you find it in your heart to help us rebuild your family?" Family. The word had lost its sweetness. I remembered her words from that day. Real family only means real family. Her weaponized affection. And now she used the same word as a shield, hoping I'd forget how deeply it once cut. I didn't answer. I opened my journal instead and wrote, "Exclusion reveals truth faster than any toast." They taught me I didn't belong, and now I believe them. When I closed the book, I realized something profound. I wasn't angry anymore. Not in the old, burning way. I was free. Free from their control, their judgments, their endless demands. Free from being the invisible support system they took for granted. Their downfall wasn't mine to mend. And that, I realized, was the most poetic justice. Because by pushing me out, they had done me a favor. They had forced me to build my own foundation, one not made of debt or conditional love. After the cancellation, their calls dwindled, not from remorse, but from pride. Eventually, Mom sent one text, "You've embarrassed us enough. I hope you're happy." Dad's followed soon after, "Don't bother coming back. You made your choice." I read their words twice, waiting for the sting that never came. No ache, no guilt, just clarity. They hadn't abandoned me for being cruel. They'd abandoned me because I stopped being useful. Meanwhile, life moved forward. Work flourished. My savings stayed untouched. My circle of real friends, the people who saw me, valued me, grew. When a coworker invited me to a small gathering one Friday, I went. I laughed more that night than I had in years under my parents' roof. No barbed jokes, no comparisons, just laughter, sincerity, warmth. As I walked home under the city's soft glow, I realized that the family I'd been chasing all my life wasn't the one I was born into. It was the one I was creating. Still, I couldn't resist one final act of quiet defiance. I posted a photo of a dinner table surrounded by friends, glasses raised mid-laughter. The caption read, "Real family isn't about invitations. It's about love." The comments came fast. Messages of support, stories from others who'd lived through their own versions of erasure. I didn't need validation, but I welcomed the connection. And somewhere in their dark, silent house, I knew my parents had seen it too. The silence they once used to erase me was now their punishment, a silence filled with absence, with loss, with the echo of the person they'd driven away. Weeks passed. Then one late night, my phone rang. Mom's voice trembled. "Madison, we can't face anyone anymore. Everyone knows about the debt. Your brother's fiancé left. We lost everything." I said nothing, letting her words wash over me. She tried again, softer this time. "We were wrong about you. About everything. Please, just talk to us." Her tone wasn't apologetic. It was desperate. Apologies spoken from survival, not sincerity, don't heal. They just cling to whoever still listens. The next day, my brother texted, "Maddie, I need you. Please, I'll pay you back. I swear." I stared at the message until the screen dimmed. He didn't want forgiveness, he wanted rescue. But I wasn't in the business of saving those who had celebrated my exclusion. So I went for a walk instead. The autumn air was crisp. Shop windows glowed gold. A child tugged at her mother's sleeve, laughing at the holiday lights. I smiled, realizing I hadn't felt simple, unguarded joy in years. That night, I posted one last photo. My journal open on my lap, a single line written across the page. Exclusion isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's the beginning of freedom. People flooded the comments with encouragement, but I didn't read them all. The post wasn't for them anymore. It was for me. In the months that followed, the story of the Cole family spread quietly through town. A tale retold in whispers about pride, arrogance, and a daughter who chose peace over obligation. And though people called it revenge, it didn't feel like that. It felt like release, because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's peace found in solitude, in stability, in joy that no one can touch. Sunlight spilled across my apartment floor one morning, golden and warm. My coffee steamed beside my journal. My phone sat silent, not from neglect, but from calm. The silence that once hurt now felt protective, sacred. I flipped to the last page of my journal and wrote. They erased me from their table, but in doing so, they set me free. I don't need a seat there anymore. I've built my own table, and at mine, love never comes with conditions. That evening, I scrolled through old photos from my trip. Sunsets over cobblestone streets, meals shared with strangers who'd shown kindness without even knowing my story. Those moments weren't escapes. They were evidence that life could be beautiful beyond the bounds of family approval. The irony was sharp, almost poetic. They had disinvited me from their celebration. But in the end, I was the only one who found something lasting. I didn't gloat. I didn't mock. I simply chose peace. And that peace, that quiet, steady peace, was the truest justice of all. Because when the noise fades, when the guests disappear, when debts come due, only truth remains. And the truth was this: I had always belonged. Not in their story, but in my own.